I'm so excited for this one. Today, I want to talk about the power of curiosity and having an open mind. This one really excites me. I'm getting actually the chills just talking about it, beginning it. Okay, so curiosity. We know that this is fun, it's exciting, it's the aliveness, it's the juice, right, of life. And it is a driving force into something so much bigger than you can ever think could happen to you. And in this video, I want to talk about the thing that happened to me that confirms this. And there's the other side of this as well, is the certainty piece. Like when you're curious, there's a level of certainty here. And I'm not talking about the level of certainty that is the controlling certainty, like that kind of thing. I'm talking about the certainty of having so much like divine, the divine spark trusting in a greater knowing that you are safe and you are taken care of. Okay, so I'm Heather, and I'm here to awaken you to this kind of magic, this kind of power that lives within you. It's there. I know it's there because I found it in me. And when you awaken this power, you bring that forward in all areas of your life, with your clients, your husband, your kids, the whole thing. It's super powerful. So I want to just start off this power of curiosity with a story. And it's a perfect example of my life. So I'm going to get into something that had happened to me, just to emphasize this curiosity. And so for many, many years, I had to do a lot of deconditioning, lots. And I always kind of lived through this sense of curiosity. Like I have a little bit of an adventurous streak. I love experiences. I love traveling. Anything that will bring me experiences and sensations and different feelings and things like that. So I have to fess up. I am a little bit of an adventurous one. Not completely insane adventure like bungee jumping or parachuting, but that's for other people. It's not for me. One thing that I do have on my bucket list that would be an experience of a lifetime is learning how to surf. So that's on my bucket list. But back to the story. Let's see. So, like I said, I had to do tons of deconditioning and to get to more of my authentic self. And I had always followed that curiosity, like I said. And so in the last few years, I've been really following it and going deeper and deeper and deeper into this curiosity, this insatiable appetite that I have to explore the unknown and dive right into the depths of everything. And I have traveled, and I've traveled to a few places. And it was this year that my curiosity actually led me to something that I never would have seen coming. So I was working with this woman, this powerhouse woman, and she was incredible, absolutely incredible. The best thing that ever happened to me in entire life. And she invited me into I'm just going to call it like a grid work thing. And there was probably, I'm guessing maybe 15 women all over the world. And during the solar eclipse of April of 2024, we're now in October, 2024. So solar eclipse, and we just passed the other eclipse. So there was two of these eclipses, but the first one, I was invited. So I did the thing, and we anchored in this energy that had come in, and it was so fascinating because the week before this had actually happened, I was on a call with these women, and this is where this all happened. I was on a call with these women. We were discussing what we were going to do. And I'm sitting there listening, and I was like, I could not believe what I was actually hearing. I had no idea what I was getting into. The woman that I was working with, she was just like, come and join us. I was like, okay, not a clue what I was getting into. I had no expectations. I didn't even know the topic. I just joined this call. And the next thing I knew, this conversation's going on, and they're talking about anchoring this energy because of the clips. We were bringing in the energy and sending it around the world to activate the earth. I had never done anything like this in my life, never. And it was so much fun. But what had happened was, all of a sudden, I seen my entire life flashed before me. I finally understood what my life was all about. And hadn't I not followed my curiosity, I never would have known this. It would have probably taken me like years to unravel this. I seen before my eyes, like they were discussing, if you've never heard of Lemuria, look it up. They were discussing Lemuria, the different locations, and things like that. And I instantly seen what the hell I was supposed to be here doing in my entire life. And from there, everything changed. So what I had seen, like I had traveled to places, and this was obviously involving different places. A lot of these women were in different areas, like in Egypt and all these sacred sites. They lived pretty close by. And I had been to some of these sacred sites, like, Sedona in the United States. And I had lived on the West Coast, like at the Pacific Ocean. And that's very Lemurian from what I understand. And it made so much sense to me that I had traveled to Mexico, I had traveled to this place in the States, and I had lived on the West Coast for about 5 years, and I absolutely loved it. And I suddenly realized that I was actually here to bring back all of these, because these are like, I should clarify this. The women, there were some women that were on part of the earth that were bringing in the divine masculine, and some of us were bringing in the divine feminine so that we could create unity here on the earth in the grids. So that's what was happening, and I didn't know that at the time. So what I understood was that I was actually here, and I've been working with the divine feminine for my whole freaking life. I just didn't know it. And how that happened was I had like a very rough relationship with my own mother. And so, of course, you have to work through that. It was a very challenging relationship. And then when I went to all these different places, it was activating me in ways that I didn't even know. I had no idea what was happening. Then, living on the West Coast, on the Pacific Ocean, it just made so much sense. And then I understood that I was here, what I was here to do. I'm here to bring things back, like to balance out how we see the masculine now. And it's the toxic stuff, what I'm talking about, what we see out in society, like with our leaders and things like that. I had to course correct my own wounded feminine, because as you can imagine, with this really terrible relationship with my mother, there was like tons of wounding there, tons and tons within my own self. There's so much fear, too afraid to go deep, all that stuff. And I apologize if this is a little too out there or a little too esoteric, but this is actually what happened to me. So I had to go through all of these challenges to be able to sit here today to talk to you about what I'm actually here for. And bringing back the feminine means that she's fully in her power. She's not afraid to explore the depths of her soul. Whereas before, I was terrified of that stuff. I was terrified of being, like, having that intimacy with myself and my own heart and my own being. Terrified. I was terrified to do this with anybody. And because that's not how I was raised. I was raised opposite to that. And so me on this channel talking about this kind of stuff, being a self-mastered being, self-leadership is all part of it. It is all part of everything that I'm here to bring. It's bringing back understanding the emotions and utilizing them to their best capabilities. It's understanding frequency. It's understanding that using our dreams, our nighttime dreams, and working with that tool that we were given. We were given this tool to work with, to manifest things, to glean wisdom from, to dream, like in our that's our sleeping world. And then in our waking world, we can use our dreams to create and manifest the life that we actually want. But what I had to do was remove myself from that old conditioning, the old traps, and bring myself to a space of, okay, I'm willing to go there. I'm here for that. That's what I'm here for. I am here to bring all of that stuff back, and however that looks, because it's always unfolding. This isn't anything logical. This is diving into those emotions and navigating through them and understanding, oh yeah, this feels really good, and following that curiosity. Like this is this is exactly what I'm here for. I'm here to follow that curiosity. I'm here to follow the part of me that is just like, let's do this. This is so exciting. And I wanted to share this story for quite a while, just so you can get a bigger sense of like what's going on here. And this is like such a deep undercurrent that I didn't even know was there. And had I not trusted my intuition and my instincts, and believe me, that's a whole other ball of wax too, because there was a time when I didn't trust nothing. I didn't trust my own judgment, anybody, my intuition, my instincts, none of that. So it's been a work in progress. I deeply trust myself now, and I trust the information that I get. I trust my dreams. I trust that everything is here for me. Even if it's a challenge, I trust that it's here for me for whatever reason. I may not know it at the time, but I do trust the fact that if something has presented itself, it's for me. And it's up for me to decide what that means to me. So when I say the divine feminine, it sounds really like out there, but it really isn't. We have been so conditioned to focus on the masculine and being productive. And women have been conditioned for eons to do what our men can do and be masculine and just go, go, go. But then I have the perfect analogy. You're going to love this. So when we're conditioned to do this, and I had mentioned in one of my videos quite a while ago, I don't remember but what my example was for the women in my family and which role to take on. And this is no fault of anybody, because this is what's been happening for a long time. So there's a lot of this going on, and it isn't anybody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody by any stretch, but I remember as a child, and I saw the two distinctive patterns that the two main women in my life had. One was very manipulative, not a nice person. The other one was, she was a pretty nice person, but fine, I'll just do it myself kind of attitude. And so I had two choices, and those are the only two women that I can recall that I set myself up with. And I did not follow the manipulative path. I could have. It could have been very easy. But what I did end up following is, oh, fine, I'll just do it myself. So when you get really busy or you got lots of work, you just, fine, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Like, it almost gets to the point where you don't even want to ask for help. And that's kind of the avenue that I took. So I had to do everything on my own. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of pushing, forcing, trying to make things happen. And really, really just pushing myself to the breaking point. Like, I think there was a time in my life that I pushed myself so hard and I pushed my dream so hard that I almost went bankrupt. If I didn't surrender, I would have went bankrupt. And that's a whole other story there too. So years later, after all of this, more deconditioning, and finally, you arrive at a place where you're like, okay, now what this feminine quality is to me is removing myself from that wounding, because I'm only living from my wound, and I don't need to do that anymore. I'm now able to surrender to the divine and actually be guided through my intuition and my instincts. What is feeling good for me? I didn't operate that way before. So now it's like I've got two different operating systems. I left behind the one that was pushing and forcing and achieving to an operating system that's like, oh, what's here for me? Ooh, I'm curious about this one. It feels good. I need to do it. I need to try it. By following what feels good to me, I have created this year alone that meeting where we were doing the grid work and balancing out the feminine and the masculine to bring into unity. Because unity within is the goal. This is what we're trying to achieve here, is the unity. So we need the parts that are like out of whack here, we need to readjust them. And that's what I have been doing all of these years. And I was so excited that I uncovered this. I was like, when I look back, I was like, what? I've been here my whole life doing this work. And it was such deep work, I actually hid it from myself and I didn't even know this is what was happening. So now that I know that it's happening, that I need to go deeper and further and explore even more, it's been such a fun year. Like, I know I mentioned it's October, and it is October. Because of this year, I have manifested a huge trip in coming up. And it's going to be about like a 3-week trip. And so I'm kind of jumping ahead of the game and I'm pre-recording this for you. This trip would not have been manifested if I had not seen the bigger picture and had been anchored into this kind of grid work, bringing the union together, seeing the bigger picture of my life. I don't believe this trip would be happening, because now that I have this deep remembrance of what I'm actually here for, because I can look back and I can see, yes, it's actually true. I'm going to Ireland, and I'm going to Scotland, and I'm going to Greece. This is such a trip of deep remembrance, deep activations, and a new level. And this whole year of 2024 so far, up until this point, and when you see this video, massive upgrades, massive. There's so much magic, there's so much manifesting. It's absolutely incredible. And I actually called this year Soul Fusion. Like, you know how everybody has like the one word of the year? Oh, my year is about joy, or my year is about whatever. This year, mine was about soul fusion. And what I really feel that I've done here is I've actually claimed such a big part of myself, and I'm still learning it, but it's there and it's present and it's exciting. And I cannot believe that my curiosity and trusting that with such certainty has led me to the massive changes, all for good, in my life. It's led me to starting this channel. It's led me to this moment. It has brought me all the funds I needed for this massive trip. It has brought me like so many new things. Even my dreams at night are telling me that new things are coming. more abundance is coming, more transformation, just new beginnings in general is coming. And I was like, wow, how does it get any better than this? Like, how? It is such an exciting year. And this is what I bring to you, is for you to like see the bigger picture beyond like all of the crud. Because believe me, as a child, I came into this world, and they say that you set up your life. And I kind of believe that. I believe that I picked my family, and especially my mother, because for a woman that was there and had as many babies as she did, she pretty much was not there. She was gone. She abandoned all of us. She neglected all of us. And through that, the process of like deconditioning, I learned self-sovereignty. I learned to be self-sufficient. And sometimes I was not as sufficient as I was hoping to be, but I could understand now why I was put into that situation. I needed to learn to stand on my own 2 feet instead of relying on other people. So this is why a soul-led business is super important. This is what I'm here for. This is why I'm creating it. And I have created it, is because self-sovereignty, the balance within, is crucial for me. And trying to fulfill somebody else's dream by having a job does not work for me, because I am here to fulfill my own dreams. I can't do, like, I know in the past I had jobs, and I had such difficult times because, excuse me, I must have known on some level that I was fulfilling somebody else's dreams and mine were in the gutter. I didn't even know what my dreams were. So it's such a massive shift from operating from the wounded feminine, and everything is energy. Your energy is super important. And in one of my videos, I talked about the energy that I learned and how to work with it from a pure being, like animals, like the horses and stuff like that. And it's absolutely true. Your energy, whether you're operating on the one or the other operating system that I talked about, it doesn't matter. You are still operating, you're still creating. And when I was operating in the wounded feminine, I was just creating like stuff everywhere, like stuff. It interfered with my relationship with my husband. It interfered with my job, because I always thought people were out to get me. You know, that kind of stuff, you know, it's just that kind of sense. Like, it's just like this wounded person that's an adult walking around, thrashing, pushing, arguing, you know, whatever you can think of, to a person that has understood what's happening here, the vision for your life, the vision of what you're actually here to do, and bringing everything into balance so that you can actually co-create with something bigger than our egos and actually create the dream that we are here to create. I'm not here to help create somebody else's dream by working 9 to 5. I was never meant to be a cog in the wheel. Never. And as much as I tried to do that and fit in and, you know, get the 3 degrees and have the new cars and the house, it wasn't me. I absolutely hated it. What I love is this. Doing this. Having that understanding. And when you're missing that understanding, it feels like you're stumbling around and like, oh, this feels really good. And oh, I like that. And so all these little samplings that I've tried in my life, like horses and, you know, my relationship with my husband, when you bring that all into unity and you see the big picture, you understand what's happening. So this is why I bring this to you today, is to give yourself that inner freedom that we're all longing for. and finding everything that makes you feel that way. Because it is possible to live your life like this. Absolutely possible. I don't think anything else wants to come forward on this, but I was so excited to share this story of my life and how things have dramatically changed. It's absolutely incredible. I'm still blown away, and it's months later. And I know the rest of 2024 is going to go out with a bang. I've created so much magic from this place of knowing what I'm here to do, that it's not going to stop. Things are just going to keep unfolding, getting better. Unexpected opportunities are coming. They have come. They've shown up. Things like just blows me away. Like, how is this stuff even possible? Like, how did I manifest all of this money to go away for 3 weeks? It's amazing. It's so amazing. And this is my wish for you, to live a life like this. Follow your curiosity. And I did talk about that in my last video. Yeah. I probably should tell you that this video will be probably seen in October. So I haven't quite left yet, but I'm super excited. I'm ready for that deep remembrance of what the ancients, because it's ancient lands that I'm going to. So there's some ancient things going on here. I don't know what it is, but I'm ready for it. I'm super curious. I'm ready for the big change, the big transformation, the deeper knowing, because more will be revealed on what I'm here to do. And I live for that. And again, my word for the year was soul fusion. So in the comments, I'd love to hear what your word of the year is. And I'd really, really love to hear what your takeaways are. Like, do you have a vision for your life? Is there anything that you wanted to manifest? Is there anything that you're dreaming of? Because I know when I was operating in the wounded, I had these dreams, but they never worked out. And I couldn't understand why. It's because they were never mine in the first place. It was my ego that tried to create it. And it just blew up in my face. It just wasn't meant to work out. And I can see how small I was playing by trying to achieve and push this dream. And you know what the truth is about this dream that I had, is that because other people said I couldn't do it, that I didn't know what I was doing, that's why I was pushing to have that dream. So how is that dream going to pan out for me? It's not, and it didn't. And I just nope, packed it in before I went bankrupt. Thank goodness, sometimes sense kicks in and you just no, I can't do this anymore. This is not working. And I don't want anybody to ever get to that point where, shit's just not working for you. We can do this every day. Every day. It's like practical curiosity every day. It doesn't have to be something big and tragic to happen, because believe me, I'm not doing that. I am not going to be one of those people that's going to need a car accident to wake the hell up. No, not me. I do it every day. Every day I practice curiosity. I do my best to see the joy in everything. And I'm getting all emotional over this. For a person that has lived such an ordinary life, and I do live an ordinary life right now, it's extraordinary. It's literally, I could not have ever pictured or imagined this life. When I look at the comparisons from the person I used to be, and before I figured out what I was here to do, I think I would have eventually got there. I would have had a deeper understanding of it if I would have just kept following the curiosity step by step by step. I would have come here because this is exactly what I'm here to do. So I would have come to it. This was just a more accelerated approach to it. So I highly recommend that you follow your curiosity. Be certain that the infinite has your back. Trust your instincts. Follow your joy. Do what feels good. Always. You'll be shocked at what you can actually create. You'll be shocked. And it just gets better. It doesn't end. It just keeps going and going and going. And then the more you do this, the more the divine can blow your mind, the more it can take you to places you never thought were possible. I never thought in a million years it would ever be possible for me to go overseas. Never. In a million years that I ever think, and in fact, I never even had the desire to go over there. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, I could feel I was being called to Ireland. I'm like, okay, I have to go to Ireland. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I'm going to Ireland. And so I kind of sat with it for a little while. And I told my husband, I said, we're going to Ireland this year, and I don't know why. So we had plans of going. We didn't know anything. We didn't know how we were going to do it. We didn't know when we were going to do it. We knew nothing. Then we found out another reason why we were going to Ireland. I mean, the first part was the ancient stuff so that we could visit the ancient stones and the ancient land and connect with the land. But the other part was for a wedding. And that in itself was like mind-blowing, how this wedding even came to be and the woman that is coming part of our family. So it's just so much magic everywhere. Like, it's just everywhere I look, I'm just like, this is my life? Like, what? It's amazing. So amazing. So much fun. And I get to talk to people who love to have these deep conversations underneath the stars. Like, what's not to love, right? So I could keep going on this about like all day. But if you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. I'd love to talk more about this and explore more with you and just get into a deeper conversation with you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you to all my subscribers, everybody for watching these videos. I love your feedback. I love what YouTube is doing for me. It's great. So until then, I will see you on the next one.